For all of you that don't know, my name is Lisa Storr, and I am the chairperson for our education committee for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. And our desire is to be advocates for Black women and Black girls all through America. Well, our chapters, Northern Virginia, but what we do affects everybody, I believe, in all areas. But we advocate on behalf of education, health, economic empowerment, and policies. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Regina Robinson, who is a phenomenal speaker that's going to help you with dealing with the transition from middle school to high school and what you need to do while you're in high school to make sure that you're prepared for the next journey of your academic career. Thank you, Miss
Awesome.
Robinson. It's all yours.
Yes. So I'm going to just start let me get the slideshow up and running. All right. So good evening to all of the scholars, and I always call you shining stars who are here with us on this evening. Tonight, we're going to talk primarily about financially fit for college, demystifying the ABCs of college expenses, and just making sure that you're aware of what the cost of college entails, how it's broken down, and how you can already start now preparing so that you're financially set. Again, I'm Regina Robinson, and I'm the CEO of Student for Success. We've been helping students and families navigate the college admissions process for over 15 years. We've helped students gain over $25 million in scholarships and grants. I am a graduate of Bowie State University for my undergrad degree and a graduate of Georgetown University for my master's degree. And so thank you so much for allowing me to be here sharing with you tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about financial aid, scholarships, and then what loans and common questions. And so common questions means questions that you might have about financing your education. So what is the FAFSA? I'm sure you've heard the acronym all over. You've heard people talk about it, whether it was on social media or in your schools or just people who are going off to college talking about it. It's a free application for federal student aid. It's a requirement for all students. It's a necessary requirement, but not a requirement. But I always say it's a requirement because it could keep you from getting certain financial aid if you don't, certain scholarships, endowments, and grants if you don't complete it. So I always say make sure you complete it. It's it's a portal that gathers your information and your parents' information. Then the application portal delivers that information to the colleges that you select and that you're considering. And then the colleges evaluate and give you financial aid award letters. So applying for private scholarships and grants, sometimes the FAFSA is necessary. So please, please, please complete your FAFSA when it's your time, though. You cannot do the FAFSA until you're a senior in high school. Again, a senior in high school before you can actually do your FAFSA. It was October. Now it was December. We have no idea what it'll be next year. So we're just going to kind of like hold out there in the wilderness. Each year could change depending on what they're doing and what changes they're making. But please make sure you know that this application determines the financial aid a student is eligible to receive from the government. And so again, you want to get as much financial aid as possible. So please have your parents complete it and don't wait till the last minute. Money is always given out on a first come, first serve basis. So get your FAFSA in and get it completed as soon as the portal opens. And every state has a deadline. Our state in the state of Maryland is March 1st. You need to check, see if you're in Virginia, what's the state of Virginia's deadline? If you're in DC, well, DC isn't a state. So I think that they don't really have a deadline, but I know for us in Maryland, we have March 1st. So there are three types of financial aid that comes from you completing the FAFSA. That is grants, work study, and loans. Now, grants are all free money, and they're awarded based off of some are academic, some are financial restraints. Grants are awarded to you, but it's awarded on a basis of need. That means you need that money, not that they're just going to give you that money. And it's also, you do not have to pay it back, which is amazing. So you always want to try and tap into getting grants because then you don't have to pay that money back. Work study. It's also an opportunity for you to work on your college campus when you get there. And then they allow you to use that money to offset your college. Now, work study is not guaranteed to every single student. So But you can always ask if they have work study if you're not one of the ones who's on the list for work study. You can always ask, and sometimes they have jobs that are not necessarily work study jobs, but then you can get paid for them as well. So you always want to look into that. Then, most importantly, loans, but that is money borrowed, and you must pay that money back. It is not free money, it is money that you must pay. So I always tell families only borrow what you need, not a penny more, because in the end, it all has interest rates on it, and you have to actually pay it back to the people you borrow from, and it's over a course of time. So you're accruing interest, everything is stacking up on top of each other. So please, loans are sometimes I always say it's everyone doesn't have an option to not take out loans. So if you have to take out loans, they're not a bad thing. They're only bad when you I always say when you take advantage of them and you're borrowing extra money because you want to do other stuff when that's not what it's for. There are also what we call scholarships. Now, scholarships are ones that you can get through the FAFSA as well. Scholarships are also ones you can get through your colleges, also ones you can get through private organizations, fraternities, sororities, delegates, senatorial, all of those areas. Scholarship is also money that you do not have to pay back, but they have criterias for the application. It could be what grade level you're in, it could be your GPA, it could be community service hours, it could be test scores, it could be whether you're in a certain state, and every application or every scholarship portal that are offering scholarships has their own criteria for you to follow. So it's totally up to you. But I always tell students, you can start applying for scholarships as early as elementary school, believe that or not. So you could be in middle school getting scholarships. When you get to high school, throughout high school, you could be looking and gaining scholarships. So you have to think of it from perspective like this. If you're in the seventh or eighth or ninth grade, most kids are not taking initiative and applying to scholarships now. So why not get in now early so it's less people for you to have to compete against when you're in your junior and senior year and everybody is now on the scholarship buzz and everyone's trying to apply for scholarships. So you want to make sure you get it done as soon as possible. So don't wait, don't delay, start looking for scholarships. Ms. Story, you have a question? You raised your hand.
Shameless plug. NCBW offers scholarships to seniors,
Yeah.
so you can always check our website and send in your information because we do that as well.
Awesome. And see, so you're right inside of an organization that if you apply and you do what's necessary and you meet the criteria, that could be a given scholarship that you already have. Scholarships range anywhere from $500 up. And I always tell students, guess what? It's $500 more than you had yesterday. So why not apply and get that $500? So definitely do all scholarships. Now, here are several different types of scholarships. The number one scholarship that's the biggest scholarship amount is merit aid, and that's given from your college. So colleges assign merit aid based off of your GPA and your test scores. If you're in line with that, you can range anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 a year. So that is the first and foremost is your merit aid scholarships. Then private scholarships. Those are those sororities, fraternities, organizations like NC, like NC 100 Black Women. That's an organization. All of these different places offer you the opportunity to apply for scholarships. Then they have financial need-based scholarships. That means it's based off of your parents' income. So everyone does not qualify for those type of scholarships. It's only based off if there's an income requirement that you cannot exceed in order to apply. Then you have your senatorial, your legislative, and your delegate scholarship. So you want to focus on those as well. And wherever you live, they offer those. And so you want to try and make sure you tap into those scholarships. Those scholarships will allow you, a lot of times they're about $1,750 to $1,000 or $1,500. And so you want to take advantage of those because most of the time it's just about you getting your application in early, submitting everything they require. And as long as you meet the requirements, you 9 times out of 10 get those scholarships. So that's, again, money that you didn't have before that you could put towards the ticket price of your schools. Some of the banks you bank with, your parents bank with, offer scholarships. So you want to look into bank scholarships. Some of the stores you shop at offer scholarships. Sororities and fraternities, as well as the churches that you attend, they too offer scholarships. So you want to jump on board and start looking up all of these areas and start saying, who's my senatorial? Who's my legislative? Who's my delegate? I'm going to get their names and their emails. So when it's time, because usually these you can't apply until you're a senior in high school. So when it's time, you'll be ready to go ahead and look into those scholarships and apply for those scholarships. Then you want to start saying, well, what stores do I shop at that offer scholarships? Foot Locker, Kohl's, Target. You have places that you eat, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Burger King. You want to start crafting your list. And then when it's the sororities and fraternities as well, it's going to be your senior year that you could apply for those. So there are other ones you could apply to as early as elementary and middle school, but some of these are also ones that you can only apply when you're a senior in high school. Now, here are some scholarship resources. We also have a scholarship membership where it's $19.97. You can join and we send a list of scholarships to your email every month. You just have to go through them. But here's some free also resources for scholarships as well. So you could create a FastWeb account. You could create a Scholly account. You could create, let me make sure if it's fastweb.com or fastweb.org. I'm going to double check that really quick. FastWeb. It is .com. So you can go to their website, create a profile. Scholly is a paid membership. Scholarship America is free. And then some of these Zinch and then CAPEX and UNCF. And then for athletes, you can go to ncaa.org. So these are different scholarship resources for you to tap into now. So that you can already start looking and creating your profile so that they would already start sending you information so that you can get on top of saying, oh, I want some of those scholarships, because if they're out there, why not get them? I always say right now, if you are, let's say you're 7th, 8th, or 9th grade, let's say just each month you look for scholarships that you could possibly qualify for. You apply to 5 to 10. You might not get them all, but if you get some, you can start already stacking money for when it's time for you to go off to college. So what are some questions that you have as it relates to the myths of how do I kind of like this? I wanted tonight's to be more about conversational wise, because I know you're going to have questions about just how do I finance information. If you didn't get a chance to connect with us socially last week, this is our social media handle. We're S for S College Bound on Facebook and Instagram. And then if you didn't get a chance to connect with us on our newsletter, you can go right to our website. It's suitedforsuccess.org. But I wanted to make sure we had time tonight to really ask some questions about scholarships and ask questions about other areas. I think Ms. Dickerson has her hand up.
I had a question about how much community service affects like your chances of college, because I have over 200 hours and I have nothing to do with them.
So one thing about, so when you look at, so when the colleges get your applications and they're going to see your 9 times out of 10, I'm not sure what high school you attend, but most high schools put their community service hours on their transcripts. So the colleges will see how many community service hours you have completed. And community service is important. Some scholarships are ranked solely on community service hours. And so having 200 community service hours is amazing. That'll put you in a pool for some scholarships that other kids that maybe only have 50 or 40 don't qualify for. So you're already setting yourself apart for some community service scholarships. So one of the things I could suggest you could do is do a Google search on community service scholarship, community service based scholarships, and let the list pop up for you and start navigating through those lists. Because you have so many hours, you'll probably stand out amongst other students.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. How many of you have actually started looking at scholarships or started applying to any scholarships? How many of you didn't know that you could start as early as middle school, elementary, and high school? Good. Okay. So Tamiko, have you already started or you haven't started yet?
I have not started because I
Okay.
did not know that you were able to apply for scholarships this early.
Yes. So now that means you're going to be on it, right? You're going to be ready. You're going to start looking.
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
Absolutely. And so sometimes they have scholarships that are for people who are left-handed, scholarships for people who students who are military students, students who might wear glasses, students who are deaf, students who have disabilities. I mean, the scholarships are unlimited out there of what type of scholarships are out there. Did you have your hand? I'm sorry, did you? Yes, go ahead, sweetie.
Yes, ma'am. I had a question. Just to clarify, do you have to fill out a FAFSA in order to be considered for various scholarships?
So some scholarships will require you to, some private scholarships will say, have you completed a FAFSA? We need your SAR report. And what that is your student aid report, which is generated from you completing the FAFSA, which is FAFSA. Yeah. And so it will require that. So that's why I said, although they say it's not mandatory to complete the FAFSA, I believe, and I always try and tell every family I'm associated with, please make it mandatory for you. So that way, no money is left on the table. You have access to it all possibly. But
Okay.
remember, you can't do it until you're a senior in high school for the FAFSA.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for clarifying.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, Miss Dorr.
So I know we are talking about scholarships, but little Miss Mia there's in 7th grade and she's going to be transitioning to high school.
Yes.
So you give her a few nuggets to help her with that process.
Yeah. So
And
last
then
week,
talk a little bit too about internships for people like Jasmine.
okay, so last week we talked a little bit about transitioning over to high school. And I know they're going to share the recording, so hopefully make sure you tune in and watch the recording for that. But here's about 3 things I think is going to be key for you when you're going to transition from middle school to high school. Right now, they're not really talking about grades as much as they should be and focusing on grades as much. The moment you walk into high school, you determine whether you're going to go to college free or whether you're going to pay to go to college. And what do I mean by that? If you academically strive for excellence the entire time you're in high school, then you can almost set yourself up to get that merit aid that you're looking at and have schools that are, you can select probably from any school almost, right? If you prepare yourself for SAT and ACT early on, then you can look at scores that are going to be in the higher range because you've been preparing, right? If you can start looking, as soon as you get in 9th grade and you're in 9th grade, you're in 10th grade, you're in 11th grade, you're building relationships with your teachers so that you know who you're going to use to get your recommendation letters, right? But here's another thing for high school. It's not, I mean, middle school and high school are 2 different things. So now you're having to juggle more teachers. Now you're having to juggle peer pressure. Now you're having to juggle more, another level of peer pressure, right? And so I always tell students, find a circle that's a circle of empowerment, meaning your friends. Pick the right group of friends. Surround yourself with the right people. Doesn't mean you think you're better than some of the ones you had before. It just means that you're changing your mindset now, that you're dreaming bigger, right? You're thinking about different things. And if they're not thinking about the same things, then sometimes you have to transition and find new friends, right? So that's a big thing. Staying out of trouble, right? And then making sure that you are doing what's necessary to keep yourself focused in your classes, getting tutoring, going after school to your teachers, building relationships. I didn't say this, but I'm a former high school teacher and college professor. And so building relationships with your teachers is important because then you can always use them. You know, I don't know a teacher out there who has a student that's going to be on the borderline between a B and an A, and that student has always showed up to class, always participated in the class, is not going to bump them over to the A. At least I know I was that teacher. And so be that student who's always showing up in excellence so you never have to worry about whether a teacher is going to think differently. And you already carry yourself in excellence even tonight. So I know you're going to be just fine with doing that. And so again, though, high school will bring different types of friends. High school will bring different types of people and different types of environments and drama. Keep yourself sacred from it, keep yourself separate from it, and then watch everything go very well for you. But maintain your academics and then get involved in high school. Get involved in extracurricular activities. Don't mean get involved in a whole bunch of stuff. Get involved in stuff that's going to be important and that you can do stuff with. Now, I know Jasmine, Ms. Dorr said Jasmine is an 11th grader preparing to finish this year. So we're fast approaching the summer. And as an 11th grade, sometimes I know you guys are quick to run and get a job. And there's nothing wrong with that. but sometimes internships could be just as important. And not all internships are paid. You have to see how much of it, you have to see how the return on investment for that internship goes as it relates to you getting paid. So here at Suited for Success, I used to always have high school students as interns, right? And they didn't get paid, but what I had to show them was actually you're getting paid way more than you would have gotten paid as a worker at Chick-fil-A or work at Burger King or work at McDonald's, because you have direct access to me helping you get into college, where I've helped kids get millions of dollars in scholarships, and parents pay me thousands of dollars to do that for their children. You don't pay me anything and I do it with you because you're my intern. And so you have to look at how things are a return on investment for you when you are looking at internships. Everything is not about money right away. Some things is about how can you get that return on investment. And then all of my interns always got a scholarship from me to go off to college, depending on their efforts during the time that they were with me. It ranged from $500 to $1,500 for our scholarship for them. And so you have to look at how will me getting an internship benefit me? So let's say, Jasmine, you think like, oh, I think I want to major in X, Y, and Z. And this is even for you as well, Tamiko. Let's say I want to major in this. You might want to shadow people who are in that industry, right? And it might not even be an internship. It might just be shadow time. And so use your social media platforms for what they're worth. Asking people, oh, do you do X, Y, and Z? I'm interested in that. And I would love to do this, or this, right? And so you can get an opportunity to shadow with them as well. So all of those things are key in helping you to build your resume and build your portfolio for who you are as a student, and not just a student, but who you are as an individual and then as a scholar. Jasmine, go ahead. You can come off mute, dear.
How would one apply to be an internship with you? Like have one?
So I haven't had them in a while because I guess I never even talk about them anymore. I've not had an intern as a high school student in probably about 5 years now. But you could always send me your resume and I'll put it in the chat, and what you do and I will put that in the chat, and then I will put my website in the chat, right? So I always tell students, check me out before you say you want to actually think about interning with me, and then see who I am first and see if I align with some of the things you enjoy doing or some of the things that, kind of spark your interest, right? And so I gave you my email, I gave you my website for both of my businesses. And so I would say check them out. And then if you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to intern with her, then you just send me an email, right? And then we'll connect and we'll talk.
What do you look for an intern?
So most of all, my interns are remote, and then sometimes they go with me. So I am all about making sure as young women that you grow, that you flourish, that you become the greatest version of yourself. So I'm often speaking and going to events all over. That's one of the things my interns always did with me. They always went with me. I'm like, okay, I'm getting an extra ticket. You just show up, I'll pick you up, or you get your parents to drop you off, and we're going here for the day. So I look for that student who's a go-getter. I look for that student who doesn't require a lot of babysitting, but that they're really like a student that has initiative, right? And that they're really strong. But here's what's most important as my intern. Academics come first. So your schoolwork always comes first, no matter what. So whatever you're doing whatever you're doing for me, it's always second to what you're doing for your high school career, or if you're middle school, high school, that's always first and primary on my list, because your education is key and it's important.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Thank you. So I see they're dropping resources in the chat for you guys. There's a free SAT prep class on Monday, April 29th. It looks like it's at 5:30. I think I don't do the military time, but I'm almost for sure. I think 17:30 is 5:30. Is that correct? Someone who does military time? I think that's 5:30, right? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yes, 5:30.
Yes.
And so SAT prep classes are great. It's practice. It allows you to get involved. On our website, we have what we call the resources page. Check out our I'm going to type my website in the thread again in the chat. Check out our resources page. There's a whole bunch of different free online testing prep services you can get offered there as well. So there are organizations in different places that offer free tests. We used to offer free practice tests until COVID hit. And then when people, everybody just kind of dismantled from meeting in person, and we just did away with offering a practice test. So maybe I'll try and get with the lady who I used to do that with, and maybe we'll try and offer one this summer. But yes, SAT and ACT practice tests. And remember, you can go to the number one resource is College Board for the SAT and ACT.org for the ACT, and those are in the chat as well. Those websites are also websites that will take you exactly where you need to take. You can print practice tests out. You can do practice questions on both of those websites. So they allow you to get hands-on practice in their testing. So that's amazing. There's another, so she dropped another one, I think. So you guys just copy these. There's another college mastermind, looks like, in the feed in May. So this allows you to take a couple of practice tests, which is great. Listen, here's the deal. You can never practice enough. You can never take enough practice tests. So the more you can practice, the more you're prepared for when you actually sit for the real test, okay? So keep that in mind and keep that at the forefront. The more you practice, the more you prepare for the real exam when it's time. And by the time you're going to get ready, Tamiko, they're going to be 100% computer based by the time you come. So there'll be no more taking it on paper. It'll be 100% on the computer. So that's going to be an adjustment as well. All of our middle schoolers, by the time it's time for you to take the official test, it will be on computer by then. SAT and 9 times out of 10 ACT as well. So you can start preparing yourself for that transition also.
Is there, just a question, is it better to take the ACT or the SAT, or is it better to do both? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So I always tell students, you never know what you're great at until you try it. So I always tell my students to take both. The students who go through my program, they take both. They take the SAT and they take the ACT. Then we evaluate which one they're greater at, and then we eliminate one. So then they go back in the second time for the one they're great at. They go back in for the third and final time to see if they can just raise their score a little bit more. So, but you always want to take both initially, and then you wean out one or the other. So for instance, the SAT, the highest you can get is an 800 in each section. So a 550 plus in reading and writing, reading and math is the going. And then the ACT, the highest you can get is a 36. And so the going is 21 plus. And so you want to look at that score. So if you fall in those ranges, then you could say, okay, let me see where I'm at. So let's say you're at like a 30 in the ACT, but you're at like a 4 something, or like a 500 and 500, which equals 1,000, and you're at like a 30, you're 9 times out of 10, you're a better ACT test taker. You're already at the higher end in the ACT. And so you would just focus on taking the ACT. So yes. And so Jasmine, by now you should have taken your official SAT and ACT and eliminated one. So have you? She's a junior. Is she the only junior on tonight?
I think so.
Okay. Jasmine, have you taken the official SAT test yet?
I've taken the PSAT, but the SAT is going to be next year. But I'm going to take I'm going to take an additional one during the summer to get my score beforehand so I can practice more.
Okay, because you're in what grade? 11th this year, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, and here's a misconception. What school do you attend? High school. Are you in Virginia schools?
I'm in West Potomac.
Yeah, it is a Virginia school.
Oh, okay. So here's the here's the misconception in most schools. They are letting our babies think that they are letting you guys believe that waiting to senior year is okay to start testing. It's not. College applications actually open for you, Jasmine, on August 1st. And I know that is like probably a shocker for you, but your applications actually open on August 1st. If you've never taken a test, how do you know which applications you're going to start? And so your test scores kind of tell you what schools you can start putting on your list. So please don't wait. And I say this on all of my seminars. You've never been on one of my seminars because I've only come here to 100 National. So please, I implore you, do not let this year end without you taking an exam. And so we have, let me see. I'm going to share my screen because I don't know them by heart. And so if I go there, though, I can pull them up and tell you. That way I know you're not going to leave here tonight without being armed with everything you need. So hold on, I'm going to get it off the home screen of my website because we have the test dates on there. And then this will tell you, and I'm going to tell you exactly what dates you have. I think they're on here. Let me see. Oh, good. Here they go. Okay, so the next available test is going to be, it's going to be a little blurry because I'm trying to blow it up. What's today's date? We're already in April. Okay, so the next available test is going to be June 1st. And then the next available ACT is going to be June 8th. I need you sitting in both of these exams. I need you to register. And you have until May 17th for the SAT to register, and then May 3rd for the ACT. So it's right around the corner. I need you to sit down with your parents and get registered for those two exams. Here's why. If you wait until your senior year, you don't have the opportunity to do any early action applications. You don't have the opportunity to qualify for the most money. And you don't have a clear view of what colleges you can actually put on your list because you don't have any test scores. And so please, June 1st, June 8th are both Saturdays. They're 2 Saturdays back to back. Prayerfully, you have nothing on those Saturdays already scheduled. There's early in the morning. And then you have until May 3rd to register. Let's just say let's say May 3rd for both so that you don't miss it. And you have until May 3rd to register. These are official SAT and ACT test dates. I'm going to drop the links in the feed again, but please, I'm not sure why your school is not telling you guys this, but please don't leave your junior year and you have no tests. So you're taking those two now. When they come back, you can send them. If you send Ms. Robinson an email or you send me a message, I will look at the test scores for you from both and say, okay, you're going to be a better this test taker. So in the fall, that late part of August and September, you go back in for a second time. You're not going to make 3 times, which is not a bad thing. But you're not going to make 3 times because you'll be out of time unless you're going to apply to colleges late, and you don't want to do that, especially if you're considering going out of state for colleges. So hopefully, Jasmine, that helps you to kind of get more of a perspective now. So definitely get your testing done. Remember, August 1st, college applications open for you. Start thinking about who's going to give you your recommendation letters and have a chat with them about preparing them for you. And then start getting your academic resume ironed out so that you can start preparing that, because you'll need that for some of your college applications. So was that helpful, Jasmine, now to have a timeline?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The thing about the college, like the SAT stuff, it costs a lot of money. So that's why I kind of like space them out a lot, because it's hard to afford like $100 tests and then back to back, you know?
So are you a free and reduced lunch student?
Yes.
Oh, so it don't cost. See, this is what the schools aren't educating you. I need you to go to your guidance counselor this week. Sorry. Go to your guidance counselor this week and ask her for a fee waiver so that you could take the SAT and ACT. Tell her you're taking it on June 1st and June 8th, like the dates we just talked about, okay? And ask her for a fee waiver.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
And the fee waivers are free for you to take both tests, and you get up to three. So you can go and get that for this time frame. Then when it's time for you to take the next one again, you'll go back and you'll get another fee waiver, and you'll register again. So anytime you're a free and reduced lunch student, you get fee waivers. Also, when it's time for your college applications, you can get fee waivers for some of your college applications. Okay, so we're going to take costs out of the equation so it doesn't stress you out or put any pressure on you. Go and get your fee waivers because they owe it to you.
Okay, I will do that tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, Ms. Storr.
Quick question. Does this apply to like community colleges and universities, or is it just universities? Like,
For the August 1st date, or?
no, for all the information that you've been discussing. So maybe someone wants to do college at home and go to the community college and then transfer into a university. Would they still need to do all of this as well?
So if you want to get scholarships from community college, you have to take testing as well. So some community colleges don't require testing to get in, but if you want to qualify for some of their scholarship money, they do require testing. So you want to make sure you cover all of those avenues. That's a part of doing your research, right? What are the schools you think you're interested in? What are some areas that you want to major in, right? So Tamiko and Jasmine, do you both know what you might want to major in right now? I don't want to just, are those the only two students? Because I don't want to block them out like that. We're just only talking to them because I know some people came in late. So I'm
Yeah.
not late, but some people came in later.
Candace is a part, her daughter is, I think 10 or 11th grade. I'm
Okay.
not sure. She may be a junior as well.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we weren't biased. Yes, Tamiko.
I actually had a question about when you were talking about the types of scholarships. You were saying that churches also provide scholarships. Is it a specific type of scholarship that only churches can give, or is it a variety?
So most churches, when their seniors are about to go off to college, they usually give a scholarship. And they're probably about 500, maybe 250 to $1,000, depending on the church, some a little higher. Some churches also throw in a laptop. Sometimes they have different perks that they give at these churches. So your goal would just be to find out at your church, like, oh, I just want to find out. And usually the way you find out is the youth ministry. The youth ministry at your church is where the scholarships usually come from. And so you want to find out from the youth ministry, do they offer scholarships? And here's another thing to find out from your church also. We get a lot of churches who sponsor students to go on our college tours, right? And the students don't even know it. The churches offer it, right? We're connected and collaborate with the churches. So you want to ask your youth ministry, do you guys possibly have scholarships? If I'm interested when I get in high school and going on a college tour, would the church be interested in sponsoring me to go? And I'll go and get information and bring back information to the church, so for the other students to benefit from as well, because maybe they're probably, everybody can't get sponsored, right? But those are things that you could think about, that you can ask your churches, right? Because your parents are tithers, and so you want to ask, how could that also benefit you as well? And so I know a lot of churches do that as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome. And so Jasmine and Sanai and Tamiko, do you guys know what you are interested in possibly majoring in college?
I'm a psych major, hopefully. Anything psychology I'm interested in doing.
Okay. Anyone else have, I mean, it's still early, so I know you guys might not know all of your
Hi, I'm sorry. This is Candace, Sanai's mom. I actually just picked her up not too long ago from track practice. She was interested in sports medicine or kinesiology. So
okay.
right now she's trying to, I guess, see if she can maybe shadow one of the athletic directors at her school, or kind of get some more information on what her trajectory would be with that. And she's also a freshman, so I'm assuming she should be taking the PSAT next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, no, that's good for her to talk to the athletic directors at her school, find out what did they major in. Some of them might have majored in and may have not, and they just kind of got promoted to those jobs. But it's good for her to ask and get that inside information to find out kind of what did you do, what was your interest, you know, what college did you go to, and so all of those things will give you those opportunities to, you know, I always tell students glean from the people who are right around you, right? They're going to give you the information and give you the insight so that you're not trying to figure it out on your own.
Miss Robinson.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you.
Miss Robinson, this is Sheila. I didn't hear what Jasmine clearly because it was some static what our plans are to major in it.
Oh, she said psychology.
Oh, good. My oldest daughter is a clinical psych, so maybe they can connect as a mentor.
Oh, awesome. Yep. So Jasmine, make sure you connect with Ms. Bryant so that she can try and get you connected to at least have a conversation with her daughter to find out what avenue she took. Because I know in the psychology field, there's a lot of different layers to it all. There's a lot of testing. There's a lot of degrees that you need to be able to go into different retrospects of that. And I know for a fact for psychology, you need a undergrad and you need a master's out of the bank to even really be able to get a job. And so you definitely want to see if you could connect with Ms. Bryant's daughter, and that would be a good connection for you.
And Ms. Robinson, I have another comment. We are in, several of us are in like the Divine Nine, Ms. And I am in an organization. Many of those sororities have like contest programs like performing arts, like my chapter has an oratorical contest each year for Dr. Martin Luther King, and you can participate and possibly win money. The top winners anywhere from $100 up to $750. So those are some other ways that they can look for funds to finance their college education.
Yes. So all of the when you have different competitions, those are called like competitions. And when you have competitions that you can go and be a part of, especially if you're great at like poetry or like you said, Oracle, like those are different ways to be able to win money in different ways that other people might not be able to gain those. And then Dr. Priscilla just dropped QuestBridge. QuestBridge is for low-income families to be able to look through and find information for getting into some of the top colleges. So QuestBridge is also an organization that you want to look up if you're in a low-income household family.
Also, the Rotary Club does scholarships for speech, music, one other thing, but it's also a way for you to earn money, and they're in most of the local high schools.
Yep. And then remember, when you get to college, like you're starting now, building your scholarship portfolio. One thing I've realized for students is when you get to college, you forget that you need to still keep looking for money. You don't just stop once you get there because some scholarships are not renewable. So when you are applying to scholarships, you need to create your spreadsheet that says, oh, all of these ones are going to be able to go for 4 years. This one drops off after year 1. So then I know I need to replace these funds with additional scholarships, because then next year you're going to have a deficit because you don't have that money that you had that first year. So you always want to make sure you're considering that as well.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions before we end this session? We truly appreciate you, Ms. Robinson, with all your wealth of knowledge about the transition from junior high to high and then high school to college. It has been quite enlightening and refreshing. And so, ladies, do you have any other questions that you would like to ask Ms. Robinson before we end this session? I guess everybody's good. So I want to say thank you for joining us, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes, it was greatly appreciated. I thank you for your participation. You are making us look great, because when I look at the next generation and the way that you articulate your words and the way that you stand up for yourselves and you ask questions, kudos to you guys. So I appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you at future National Coalition of 100 Black Women events. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a blessed one.
You
You
too.
too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.